The Roadie Strength Podcast is now brought to you by Perform Better. So you may know them initially from their bands, the mini bands, the loop bands, super bands. Just a really high quality rubber. They last a long time. They stretch really nicely, not like some of the cheapo ones. They're a local Rhode Island company. They're on the East Greenwich and West Warwick line, which is super cool. But they have reached national and international recognition. This company's been around for a long time. And they're just really known for having high quality gear, high quality equipment, outstanding customer service. Something breaks, they're willing to work with you, send it back, fix it, and just being really knowledgeable about their craft. They've been in the game for a long time. They do a lot of facility design, for the high schools, colleges, but they really work a lot with the pro teams, NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL. They have really good relationships with a lot of these teams. They do a lot of custom build-outs for their facilities, custom build-outs for their gyms, dumbbells, platforms, putting the custom logos in there, you name it. So some really cool stuff they're doing on that front. As far as education goes, they do a lot of courses. So whether online or in person, they have some of the top level courses in the strength and conditioning industry. And their Perform Better Summit, where you can actually go in there and listen to some of the top people in the industry and actually talk with them after the lectures, which is so cool, which you can't really get from some of this online stuff. But the education, they do really, really well. And the company's just great. It's, I've met a lot of people there. They're tight-knit. They're good people. So check them out, performbetter.com, and on Instagram @performbetter. The Roadie Strength Podcast is now brought to you by Rob Levine, the heavy hitter. We've been really happy to have them jump on as a sponsor. I personally used them this past year. My wife was in a car accident, and they were able to help us along every step of the way through getting properly compensated, making sure we weren't getting taken advantage of by the car insurance companies, and helping through with medical payments. So if you've been in a car accident, it's definitely worthwhile. Just pick up the phone and see how they can help. The Roadie Strength Podcast is now sponsored by Soul Friend Yoga. Find them online at soulfriendyoga.com, on Instagram @soulfriendyoga. They're a locally based Rhode Island company over in Bristol. They also have a beautiful online presence. You can take a look at all their apparel, all their yoga mats online. Really nice website. And their materials and quality are top notch. Me and my wife both have a yoga mat from them. My wife has a lot of their apparel, the yoga pants, the tops, the accessories. Great company, great people. Definitely check them out either in person, online. Give them a follow. Soul Friend Yoga. The Roadie Strength Podcast is brought to you by Strength and Sport Physical Therapy for all your PT, recovery, and performance needs. We help you get back on the field, back in the gym, and back to a healthy and active life. What's our 3-step process? Well, number 1, we want to diagnose the cause of the injury. Number 2, we want to make progress towards your goal. Number 3, we want to push performance and prevent it from happening again. What's our history? Well, we were founded in 2017 within a CrossFit gym, Spartan 360, in Middletown, Rhode Island, with a dream to create a PT clinic that revolves around fitness. Since then, we've expanded to 2 separate locations in Rhode Island, Portsmouth and Providence. We hope to continue to serve Rhode Island and the greater community for many years to come. Our big goal is we want to help you get back to the activities you love. What's our edge? Why we cut above the rest? Well, we provide one-on-one attention. Every session's with a doctor of PT. This helps you get the most out of your rehab. We provide a variety of techniques, whether it's dry needling, cupping, exercise, correctives, and we base our rehab basically on the most up-to-date research, whatever is evidence-based. And we specialize in athletics. We walk the walk of fitness and sport. We have certifications including the CrossFit L2, the USAW, CSCS, SCS. We do bike fitting. We do running analysis, concussion rehab, dry needling. Really, we want to build a better you. Get in touch. Give us a call or text 401-239-2784. You can give us an email, matt@strengthandsportpt.com. Follow us on Instagram @strengthandsport. Check us out online, www.strengthandsportpt.com.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, dude?
What's going on, Coach?
How's it going?
Doing good. Glad to see you again.
Same. I'm happy we get to do a round 2 of how things are going.
Round 2. Let's get it. Yeah, I've been following you ever since we chatted originally, which was, I was just looking at it, episode 64, which was that's got to be close to a year ago, right?
I think so. Yeah.
February 2024. So almost 1 year
Nice.
ago.
Almost.
Pretty
Nice.
close.
What do
Yeah.
you think in that 1 year since you started following me and you've been paying attention? What do you think about the growth?
You've been crushing it because correct me if I'm wrong. When I talked to you originally, you had just moved up to the Northeast, up to New
Yeah.
Hampshire, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And it seems like you've really just like been fully integrated into the culture now and have been
That's
doing
amazing.
well. Yeah. And obviously doing well with the barbell club and jiu-jitsu and going to different competitions and winning
Yeah.
medals. So hey, nothing wrong with that.
Dude, I'm super stoked. I'm having a great time up here, to be honest with you.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm really glad to hear it. And I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll do the formal intro in a second, but I saw that you had a post where you went back down to Team
Yeah,
Soul,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Miami, and you taught a class down there
Yeah, dude.
as one
Yeah.
of the guests. So that's cool. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot for like the person you are, but also the community of Soul that is like, hey, like we want to have you come back, like do a guest. I've never seen that before. I've never heard of
Yeah.
that before. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
dude. I really love that gym. That's more than a gym for me. It became a home, and those people are at one point were what I consider family. So it's
Cool.
special to be able to keep that love going no matter where I'm at.
Love that. Awesome. Well, all right, so we'll get into the podcast.
Yeah.
Same kind of format as before. Just I'll give a quick intro on you, and then a couple more rapid fire questions, and kind of see what your answers are there, and then we'll get into kind of like the recap of how things have been going. So, yeah. So what's going on, guys? Dr. Matt here, host of the Roadie Strength Podcast. We got another special guest on today, Andres Aleman, Coach Aleman, head coach over at Rose Barbell Club, CrossFit L2 certified, and still brown belt.
Yep. Still brown belt, one stripe.
Hey,
Let's
and and
go.
and you're coaching jiu-jitsu now as well. I saw, right?
Right. Yes,
Coaching.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
awesome. Did I miss anything? Did I hit it?
No,
Hit on
you
that? Very
crushed
cool.
it. You crushed it.
So couple rapid fire questions, just to start. So first one, like I asked you last time, favorite coffee shop. You had said the White Rose
Yes.
in Miami. Had since past year, anything in New Hampshire that's
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good question. So yeah, Miami for sure, White Rose still and will always be the spot for me. But now that it's been a year in New Hampshire, I found the spot called the Nest Cafe, and it's a family cafe. And the idea is that there's just space for the kids to play, and you'll be able to enjoy your coffee while they have things to do, or they have like a bookshelf. So it's nice. I
cool.
like that the priority is like the kids and then the parents get to have some decent coffee. So it's a win-win.
That's huge. That's huge. And like again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but that's something that as I was getting ready for this podcast, that really jumped out to me of like the I mean, you have your weightlifting, you have your fitness side, but I can tell how important family is to you. Every family is always integrated into your day-to-day life. So that's cool to hear. That's
Yeah,
really
bro. Yeah, it is.
next rapid fire question. We got favorite, and it could be the same answer, but favorite go-to breakfast. Either breakfast place you go to or favorite breakfast that you've been making for yourself at home
Yeah.
recently.
So recently, my daughter Rose is going through a phase where she loves mushrooms. So right now, our breakfast go-to is mushrooms and eggs. So for now, I think that's the new favorite.
Love it. That's good. That's different enough where that's a good option. I like that. Get some variety. Next rapid fire, we got a favorite recent book. The last time, do you remember what you said last time?
I think it was a book on sleeping last time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It
okay,
was
yeah.
I
It
don't know
was
if it
like
got
how to help my daughter like get into better sleep or better habit
exactly.
of sleeping. Thankfully, she's sleeping great. Um, but as of recent, I heard an audiobook and it's called The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. Have you heard of that?
No.
The Art of Learning, dude, that book was a great perspective because it's based on a chess master who learned jujitsu and applied techniques that he used to learn chess at a professional level into learning jujitsu. And I thought there was a lot of great stuff there that I could take from.
That that makes a lot of sense to me too, because like based on my very small knowledge of jujitsu, it has a lot to do with chess. I feel like you're
Yeah.
thinking, you're making different moves, countering, like
Yeah, I think the way your brain processes it is very similar to chess.
yeah, that's a really cool connection, especially coming
Right.
from somebody who was a master at the art to going from one to the other. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something that's like the most recent book that I feel like it's been super powerful.
Awesome. I'll have to add that to the wish list on my
Yeah.
Audible.
Yeah, you should for sure.
Uh, kind of similar, but favorite recent podcast. Last time you had said sports was so from
Yes, yes,
me.
yes, yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, the most recent podcast, I haven't really been listening to many, but I was just featured at a jujitsu one, and I thought it was a nice perspective because I'm not a black belt, but I've been around the sport of jujitsu since, for a long time. And, it was nice being able to tie up jujitsu to now one of my current passions, weightlifting, and how both of those worlds have come together at some point for me.
Mhm. Yeah, that's cool. I think I just saw that you had posted that too, that you were on that podcast. So, that's a cool perspective being because they're coming from the jujitsu side of things more. So
Correct.
that's a cool
Correct.
perspective. That's awesome. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
and it was a nice way for me to like talk about the sport of weightlifting to a jujitsu community that,
Right,
being able to show them that look, if you do weightlifting right, you could be safe and you could be able to like benefit from a sport like weightlifting.
right. Do you find that in the jujitsu community that a lot of the guys don't really train with weights?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them spend majority of their time obviously on the mat,
Yeah.
but outside of the mat, I feel like there's still a lot of people that are lost in that sense on what would give them like the best turnout
Yeah.
on the mats. And I think little by little, as both of those worlds keep merging, it's gonna be better. I've seen some of the top level guys already doing, more specific work that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see the guys that are like that have become like popular in jiu-jitsu, like some of like the whether you like them or hate them, like the Gordon Ryans who are like
Yeah,
obviously they're doing a lot of weight training.
yeah,
Um or even like guys like Joe Rogan who have like been very into jiu-jitsu but also very into weight training, so blending the two together. But I'm curious because I kind of found the same thing when I was doing a lot of the mat work. I noticed a lot of the guys were like I don't really need the gym. I can just roll every single day, which
yeah,
the point, I guess that works, but you might be leaving a little bit on the table.
for sure, for sure. I think at the highest level at that sport, no matter how big or small it is, the capacity to be physical is super necessary. The technique could only get you at some point, but I think what separates all the champions right now, and you could see them down the list, is the athletic part as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, very true. Um, which that kind of brings us to our next question here. We got favorite Instagram accounts, and the reason I say that is because one of the accounts you mentioned was Craig
Craig
Jones.
Jones, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, he's
who's
forever,
very
bro. Since
yeah.
since we last spoke, he's done a lot for the sport, and he put out one of the biggest events of last year, which was super unexpected. When we spoke, I didn't even see that coming, and him being able to do that, a legend.
So I haven't been following it as closely. What event did he do?
Okay, so look, one of the biggest tournaments for a long time has been ADCC, and
Sure.
ADCC um had some drama with him, and he ended up hosting his own event, and he paid out $1 million to the winner in each weight class, which was like the biggest payday that any jujitsu athlete has gotten. So like he did a big thing for the sport.
That's unreal.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
What was the not to get like too deep into it, but like what was the drama with him and ADCC?
It was They were getting upset that the event kept growing. It got to a point where they were like at a big venue, but the fighters aren't getting paid the money that they
Uh,
deserved. They were getting paid only if they won. So a lot of them had no guarantee. It was just a messy thing. It was definitely not towards the fighters' favor.
Yeah.
So then he switched it up, he made an event that made more sense for the fighter and for the viewer as well. He made it something that you could watch it on YouTube for free, which the other events were charging yeah,
Yeah,
you
the
know?
other events you have to get was it usually flow,
Yeah, flow grappling,
yeah,
correct.
flow
And
grappling.
like and then you're paying a big chunk of change to be able to watch like one specific tournament.
Right. Yeah. I want to see this one guy, and it's just like, all right, here's like whatever, $60 to get
Yeah,
60.
exactly.
There it is. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. He did that. It's interesting you say that because like there's interesting examples of that's happening across different sports. So CrossFit is the other big one right now where I don't know if you've seen the stuff that's been going on with them where there's this new competition called the World Fitness Organization or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
It's a secondary version of I'm gonna get the name wrong. World Fitness Organization, something like that.
It's all right.
It's like it's similar to the CrossFit Games, but a lot of
Yeah.
the CrossFit athletes, because of the past year with the whole thing with Lazar dying, they're like, we're taking a step back. The best people in the world, and like, we're gonna go jump on this new competition, and like,
Yeah.
so there's been some pushback, which I think is healthy in many ways to kind of like, if the old guard
Welcome. It has to be a
competition,
balance,
yeah,
it
yeah,
has to be like that because then they end up getting majority of, the benefits and the athletes always lose.
yeah,
And
yeah. So
and
that's
it wasn't fair.
that's good
It's
that
nice that it happened in jiu-jitsu and I think it was like a good time, timing
yes,
is good. So been a shift and now people have to like reconsider the next time ADCC comes around if they want to do CGI, which, has a better payday.
yeah. Which the athletes will probably do that.
Exactly. So it's nice. Yeah, yeah. It was a nice little switch up.
I'm getting off topic here, but I feel like UFC might need a little reset at some point. Someone else coming in, and because I know that's one thing that a lot of the athletes have complained about is like if you're not the number one guy in the world, you're probably not getting paid too well with the UFC. But
Definitely, dude. That's been a thing in that sport since it started.
yeah,
There's fighters there that are barely making any money to be able to pay their camps.
yeah,
Um, it's crazy, and it's crazy that some fighters do make a lot of money, and it's
right.
just such a small percentage of them that it makes no sense for that sport to grow. Like, well, it's gonna incentivize more MMA gyms to open. Like, if that, if no one's making money. And at this point, jujitsu is making more money than some of those fighters. Like, look, some
Yeah,
of these guys just made $1 million. Like, some UFC
yeah,
fighters have never made $1 million in the UFC.
right. And then you look at the cost benefit ratio. It's like,
Correct. And you're like, oh shit, I could have just grappled and made $1 million.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
nice to see in my end that jujitsu has grown that much. Because
yes,
I think
definitely.
it's, fairly quick. The UFC took a huge growth, but now jiu-jitsu is in a nice place where some of these fighters can actually like consider making money. And like
Yeah,
obviously this is not like NBA, NFL money, but
yeah,
it's much better than it was before. Before you would be a world champion, and guess what? All you get is a medal.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Congratulations.
Good job. Sign up next year. Let's see what happens. And it's
Yeah. And even at like a grassroots level, like in New England, like there's competitions often. If you're
there is.
like amateur or you're trying to get into it, or even beyond that, like you can find a competition. You can do it.
For
You can
sure,
find
for
an
sure.
event for sure. So
I
that's
might do a competition in Boston actually this year.
oh nice. All
Yeah,
right. Do you have
yeah.
your eyes on any specific organization or
Yeah, it's gonna be like a traditional IBJJF tournament.
cool?
So that's what I have in sight right now. I'm looking forward to preparing for that and
Nice.
putting myself out there again.
When was the last time you competed?
The last time I competed was I think a little bit over a year ago. I competed at Pans. I did Pan Ams in Florida
Sweet.
and it was a great experience. I think at a brown belt, I had to figure out and see where I'm at because it was, coming every time your belt changes, the pool of athletes in competition also changes. So it was a good way to, put myself out there and see where everyone's at. And now preparing for this year, I think I'm excited how things are gonna go.
That's awesome. Glad to
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of on the same veins, same sentiment. Anywhere you've traveled, recently, whether competition for fun, whatever.
Honestly, since since we last spoke, I've probably been to Miami maybe like 5 times.
Wow.
I keep going back. My mom still lives there, so it's a great opportunity to see my mom, have my mom see my baby, and then get a workout with Team Soul. It's just
Totally.
it's a nice little getaway,
That's
um, and be able to see my friends. It's nice.
pretty easy to get down there too
Easy,
from
easy.
this
From
area.
Boston to Miami, the flights are super cheap.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find round trip for like $80.
Yeah, yeah. It's a like a second Massachusetts in many ways. We get
Pretty
tons
much.
of people from Massachusetts going down there,
Pretty much.
especially this time of year.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, we're going to Miami in like 2 weeks.
There you go. Just, take a little break from the cold for a
Yeah,
bit.
for a little bit, just to recharge.
Yeah. Next question we got and this I'd probably be guessing is the same answer because people stay pretty true to their roots. But favorite shoe, favorite shoe for lifting.
For lifting, it's still the same, Romain Leos. I'm like right now. I'm at a point where the sole is a little broken, and I still want to wear them. I'm trying to find someone to repair them up here, to be honest. But
Oh,
that's my favorite shoe.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The cobbler profession. You don't find many of those anymore. But you might get lucky. You might find somebody.
I might try at some point though the Chinese weightlifting shoes. I've seen some good stuff about them. They look and they feel very similar to the Romelios.
Are they the Antas?
The Antas, yep.
Yeah. Those look cool. I never tried them, but I've seen a lot of people wear those. Those are cool. Some of
Yeah.
those have the wood heel too, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Uh, and then last rapid fire for you. Again, probably no change on this one, but favorite movement for weightlifting.
I mean, honestly, I love all of them, but right now, since I'm not doing a lot of weightlifting, my favorite movement to teach has been the split jerk.
Okay, that's what you said last time.
There you go. I didn't even remember what the first one was last time, but split jerk is the one. I think it's so intricate.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I like it. All right, so kind of getting into some of the updates from like the past almost 365 days, almost past year. So last time I talked to you, I don't know if you had just started or you were in the process of starting. Either way, you were in the early phases of the Rose Barbell Club. So
Dude,
kind
it's
of
been
yeah,
incredible, incredible, incredible. I think the growth in one year for me has been something that showed me that, hey, I think the playing field is nice for the growth of Rose Barbell. I think New England has a competitive weightlifting in certain ages, but for youth, I think the amount of kids I want to be able to develop is going to be a nice change for New England in general. I feel like it's going to be a positive change, and I think it'll help the sport grow. I think that's always been my priority, no matter what. I think I might have mentioned it to you the first time we spoke. The growth of the sport for me is super important, and being able to like capitalize on the youth athletes has been super rewarding. In one year, like you mentioned, we've been able to get a couple youth athletes to break New England records, and it's been not only motivating for them, but for the kids around them, being able to see how like, hey, my friend was able to attain a record, a New England record. That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think definitely props to Travis Cooper about he's done a really good job of like organizing New England as a region and like hey, here's the record books. Here's where we're at. Here's like trying to bring everybody together. And that's cool that you guys have been able to like kind of break into that and participate with that. And you guys came in third in New
Dude,
England.
that for me that was a shock. I'm super pumped by that. I think that was something that kind of lit a fire on me.
That's cool. Yeah. At a lot of competitions in the area, I mean, you'll see like like the Providence Barbell Clubs, Architect Fitness, a lot of like really common barbell clubs over and over again. So with the Rose Barbell Club being kind of like the new kid on the block, how have you
That's
been
pretty
able?
much
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's the feel, honestly.
yeah, yeah. Have you gotten pretty like positive or how's it been like getting integrated? Has it been positive response to our barbell clubs, or has it been kind of like, all right, let's see what these guys got type of thing, or?
It's been positive, nothing but positive, honestly. I think every other club has been super respectful, super like welcoming. Other coaches in the area have been super welcoming, always visiting, asking me to visit, and
Cool.
I think it's been a great transition for me to come here from Florida. But yeah, positive, positive. I'm like, I look forward to all the meets because I think the community is a great community up here.
Yeah, yeah. And part of that too is like when you were in Florida, you were also was the barbell club the same name? Was it Rose when you were in Florida?
When I was in Florida, I was under Team Soul, so I've
Yeah.
been, their athlete and coaching for them for a long time. So for me, it's fairly new having my own club.
Sure. Okay.
And that's why this experience has been super unique and super gratifying because I've been able to like produce and put in the work in, just arriving.
Yeah. So and when you're in Florida too, so you worked with a lot of mostly youth athletes,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
that was
So,
pretty much my main goal. Yeah.
yeah. So when you made the transition in New Hampshire, obviously you're starting from scratch. Like, did you
From,
did you find
from scratch. Yeah.
did you find that it was tough to start gaining a following of or finding athletes?
Honestly, not really. There's not that many barbell clubs in New England,
Sure.
especially in New Hampshire. I feel like there's only like two or three that are affiliated, to be honest. So
Yeah.
definitely a demand for the sport. There's just not enough people teaching it. So as soon as I got here, it was to a point where I was able to walk into like a CrossFit gym and they don't have a barbell club. And hey, you want to start a class? I think this is going to be a beneficial thing for everyone at your gym. And just like that, it picks up.
Yeah, yeah. And you chose a good gym. You're at Amskag,
I'm a
right?
skate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a skate and I'm at CrossFit Ever Proven in Dover. So those two locations are pretty separate from each other. One is kind of like North New Hampshire, and then the other one is Southern.
Gotcha. What's the
So
name of
those
the
are
one?
like, yeah. Say that again.
What's the name of the one in Dover?
Dover is CrossFit Ever Proven.
Ever proven. Okay. Gotcha.
And both of those facilities are super nice, beautiful spots, space, plenty of space. So it's been easy to grow not only my community, but merge with their community as well and be able to like, show them that at any point, at any age, you could still benefit from, learning technique and doing these movements better.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I saw a video that along the same line that you posted on Instagram recently. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but you were with the PVC pipe, and you were working with I think adults in this particular
Yeah,
scenario, maybe teaching a class or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And let me see. The quote was good. Let me see. Strength is in the details. Strength in the
Oh,
details.
that's what it is. The PVC is the tool that allows me as a coach to see a lot of these people's compensations because there's no weight on it. They can't like wedge themselves into positions. The PVC shows me, hey, this person can't push the bar back enough without flaring up the ribs. The front rack is an issue. They can't, it's so separate from them. There's got to be things that we got to work on before we even get to the bar. And not only that, but the classes that I run, because they're based off technique, it allows me to do a ton of reps without them fatiguing their grips and fatiguing a lot
Right.
of other things, but mainly like working on footwork things.
That's a good
Definitely.
point. That's a
Yeah.
good point. I haven't heard it explained that way before. It's like if you're working on technique, sure, go grab a barbell, but with all the reps you're doing, you're gonna be smoked. You know?
Exactly, dude. I'm trying to do technique for like 30 minutes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
even if you do it with a bar, you're gonna end up over gripping and then throwing off a lot of the timing. So let's just spend good time with the PVC and learn to appreciate it. I feel like
yeah.
people take the PVC for granted, and I think it's one of the most important tools in the sport of weightlifting.
Totally, totally. Yeah, and a lot of it's just like is repetition. So
That's pretty much it, dude.
if you have 30 minutes of at warm up, cool down, whatever, 30 minutes of actually doing technique work, like you get as many reps as you can, just over and over again, build that
Exactly,
habit,
dude.
muscle memory.
Like think about the time that an average CrossFitter spends in a week doing drills for technique. Probably a minute accumulated
Or
before
zero.
they have to start loading and start the workout. You know what I'm saying? Like classes
Yeah,
aren't structured like that in CrossFit.
yeah.
So the benefit that this gives them, I'm keeping in mind that these people are doing other things outside of this class as well, you
Right,
know?
right. Yeah, it's like you have an hour in class and like typically technique, if it's programmed at all, it's It's very small, very
Dude,
small. Yeah.
5 minutes and you gotta go.
Oh, totally. No, that's a good point. So I wanted to point that out. Um, so kind of along the same lines. So you're doing well. Let me ask you this first. So Amaskag and Ever Proven. How far are they from each other? You said.
It's like an hour drive from each
Okay.
other.
And you kind of split back and forth throughout the week between the two.
Two times a week at each gym, at each location.
Gotcha. So is the barbell club, is it kind of like officially split between those two, or is
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is. Rose Barbell Club functions out of those two gyms, and that's a service that Rose Barbell Club is able to provide for people in those locations.
That's a good way to do it too, because I mean, obviously for New Hampshire, there's less compared to Miami, there's less population density, so you can reach a broader amount of people.
Yeah,
Um,
dude. And not only that, but it's now at a point where, for example, like this weekend, I'm getting all the people from the gym down south to come and do a session with the community up north, and it becomes a great environment. It becomes like, if I'm trying right now, I'm gonna do a mock meet to prepare a couple athletes for a competition. It's nice. It's a good feeling to be able to have a team to train with.
that's really cool. That's awesome. And are you still? So I'm sure you have people of all ages, but are you still really trying to focus more on, or are you still specializing with the youth at this point, or?
Well, definitely the youth is a huge priority. Right now, I think majority of the competitors are youth athletes, but I definitely have an eye on some masters. That's also been my second. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are super strong, super fit, coming out of CrossFit that are in the masters category that don't realize how competitive they could be in weightlifting. I have an athlete, for example, that just started. She's 57
Okay, yeah,
and she never thought about doing the sport of weightlifting, and with her numbers she would have medaled last year and she had no idea. So it's pretty incredible to be able to find athletes like that
yeah,
aren't
yeah.
competing in CrossFit. They do CrossFit regularly, but they could compete in weightlifting and be studs.
Win medals.
Exactly.
So that's almost part of your job as a coach, is doing the work and finding these people and be like, hey, like you can do
Exactly.
really well if this is something you want to do. So,
Exactly. And being able to bring it up and show them numbers, because that's also a nice thing about weightlifting. I
yeah,
could see totals and I could see numbers that are attainable, and I know your numbers. So look, this is a realistic goal. We can make this happen.
that's pretty cool. And are you finding these? Are you coaching CrossFit as well? Or
I just started
nice.
coaching CrossFit at Amaskake. Amaskake is the gym that's pretty close to me.
Yes.
And now I'm coaching Friday mornings and Wednesday mornings at 5 and 6 a.m. So I'm like the earliest I can so I could get back and and be able to take care of Rose.
So you got a nice busy schedule.
Yeah, super busy. Super. I mean, that's how I like it. I like that it's spread out. I'm able to coach a little bit of jujitsu, weightlifting, and then CrossFit. Here and there, and it keeps me on my toes. I
I
want
love
to be able to still sharpen my coaching in all those things and not be able to like, oh damn, when was the last time I coached CrossFit? I want to still be able to manage a group in that sense.
That's cool. Yeah, you're like a multi-tool. You can do it all. Each one.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to be a black belt in all these modalities.
And they do like integrate well. You see a lot of CrossFitters go to Jiu-Jitsu. You see a lot of CrossFitters go to weightlifting, and vice
Yeah,
versa.
yeah,
They
for sure.
intermingle for sure.
They do.
I don't know if people realize this or if it's obvious, or I feel like I should mention it. The name Rose Barbell Club is named after your
My
daughter,
daughter. Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
and you've posted a couple of videos of her recently too, like in the gym, kind of like playing around.
Dude, she's my little partner, so she's been able to like. It's hard to compare a toddler, especially she's not even two right now, but I've seen her develop so fast, just playing at the gym, being able to use tools like, the most underused tool at the gym, the stairs and the ramp. Um,
Yeah,
Playing
right.
with that, been able to develop balance, coordination. She's doing a lot of cool stuff, and it's nice seeing her grow so fast.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the only well, who's who's the athlete? Oh, I'm gonna blank on her name over at MSGAG. Danny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Danny.
she's probably using the stairs, doing the handstands. But
No, for sure, for sure. Probably for sure.
but
I'm
yeah,
excited to see her compete at Wadapalooza. I'm gonna be at Wadapalooza this year.
oh,
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
I,
yeah.
we got some buddies who are heading down there too. I don't think I will be, but that'll be a fun.
Dang, that would
As
have
far
been
as
cool.
CrossFit comps, I mean, you got the games, you get the open, then you get Wadapalooza. Like
You definitely do. That's an
that's
experience, bro. You gotta come out there
yeah.
and I'll show you around Miami. The next
All right,
Wadapalooza,
all
you gotta plan that.
right. Well, if not this year, I'll make it happen eventually because I
Let's
do.
do
That
it.
is a comp I want to check off my bucket list and go check it out.
You should. You should.
Huge comp. So,
Yeah,
um, kind of some more things to point out about the Barbell Club. So you guys have won a couple national medals.
bro. Amazing, amazing. I think, more than anything, what it's done to the kids from coming out of that experience. A lot of them came back, wanted to train right away. They were like super pumped to get it better. Like, and what else can I ask for? That was s- an amazing experience for them and for the community around, being able to see them work for it.
Yeah,
It's been great.
and that was Pittsburgh and Colorado.
Pittsburgh, yeah. Colorado was nice, but when I went to Colorado, I didn't have Rose Barbell yet, so it wasn't the same experience. Now with Pittsburgh being able like to put Rose Barbell at a national, competition, and not only that, but collecting medals first year that they show up, even at a national level, for
Yeah,
me was, I can't, I can't be more excited than for the first year of Rose Barbell.
that makes it the real deal.
Yeah. It's good. I'm excited for what's up to, I'm excited for the next nationals.
Next is Colorado as well, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Colorado for the next 2 years.
Is it? Okay.
Because of that, as a coach, it makes it easy to try to figure out if it's worth waiting a year. Because now we know when the next location is gonna be, and some athletes might be better off taking a year in between nationals to work on, being able
Yeah.
to, because what happens with youth athletes as they get older, their weight changes. And not only that, but then their age group changes. So I don't think necessarily there's a rush to have them compete every year at a national event. If there's big
Right.
like states, I think New England does a great job hosting a
Right.
state meet that feels as close as possible to a national meet.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
venue last year with the airplanes all around, like for a kid, that's a
How
pretty
cool is
big
that?
meet, that's a pretty big meet. It's unique and it gives it that special feeling, and that's really what you're looking for.
Yeah. I didn't end up going to that one in person, but I saw the that was Westerly, right?
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
yeah, that was such a cool venue. I think they have done that one before.
They
Maybe not.
have. I think
They
they
have
did.
it.
I
They
think
have,
they
yeah.
did it the year before, but I wasn't able to go. And this year I showed up with the team, and it was nice. It was super
That's
unique.
so yeah, you've been crushing it. So kind of going on to your philosophy of training over the past year. So getting into some deep questions here.
Yeah.
Anything that you've noticed that has your style changed at all, your philosophy, and whether we're talking about maybe like youth training versus like adults or masters, anything you've noticed or grown or learned about over the past year?
I think over the past year, I've been able to dial in and be a little bit more detailed on things. I've been able to like take steps back and allow everyone to spend time with technique. I think some athletes, no matter what level they're at, they have a feeling where, they get to a point where they're like, oh, I don't need to keep doing drills. But, I think drills are super important in all the sports. I
Mhm.
coming off, a wrestling background, we pretty much drill a double leg a million times, and that's pretty much how you're going to have that feeling be memorized. And the same thing I think has to happen with weightlifting at the lightest weight. I think there's a misconception of having to get to a heavier load fast.
Sure,
I
sure.
think the majority of people benefit significantly spending a lot more time with a lighter weight, even an empty bar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a really good parallel because like during my small amount of time training jujitsu, I was like, our every warm up was like this, like drills. Like whenever it was never no, oh, we're not doing drills today. It's like no,
Yeah,
we're always drilling.
yeah,
We're
like
always working technique.
that's like part of the sport.
Yeah,
I think that's something that more athletes should definitely spend more time with.
yeah. No, that's a good answer. Um, and I'm curious to see like because it's gotten the myths about youth training. So it's I think in the past at least 5 years it's gotten much more accepted. But back in the day they used to say like, oh, you shouldn't be training. And we talked about a little bit about this on the last podcast. But
Yeah.
have you noticed has been any like easier, more difficult, like from when you were doing it in Miami versus when you were bringing it here, or because
Not 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 to bash Miami, but New England people, I think outside the box more.
yeah,
I think it's
true.
easier to show people and educate people up here. I think
Yeah,
they understand nowadays that some of those myths don't make sense.
right.
Myths like, oh, you should swim or play basketball so that you could grow. Dude, I still play basketball and I'm not getting any taller, you know?
I never heard that one. That's good.
Dude, I have heard of those, and I think those might be coming out of Miami, but here things are a lot better in that sense.
Yeah.
But I've also seen a lot of benefits coming from weightlifting, spending so much time, especially with youth, in the sense of like being able to retain um their attention outside of the platform. So like at school, parents have told me that they're paying more attention and they're like focusing more, and I think that's a cool trait because
Mhm.
getting weightlifting into schools would be a nice thing for everyone. I think it would be,
Sure.
yeah, I think it would be. That's where I hope New England starts getting into because as I left Florida, that was like one of the biggest changes that was happening, where weightlifting
Really?
was getting merged in schools, and you saw a lot more schools doing the sport of weightlifting. I think
Yeah.
it's I think it's a great thing for kids and their development and being able to like focus on things because look at the world we live in right now. Like things are a swipe away and the attention span, it's hard to practice if you're not doing a super specific sport, right?
Yeah. 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 It's similar. I forget who I was talking to. It might have been someone from a wrestling background or jiu-jitsu background, but they were saying similar, like getting these kids involved at an early age in this organized sport, especially in something really structured like weightlifting and like a martial art, carries over to their school life. Carries over to
Exactly, exactly. And I think that should be like one of the biggest selling points, you know?
yeah, totally. So you're not getting a lot of people pushing back like, oh, kids shouldn't be lifting weights as much.
No, no,
And
no,
that's
not really.
I'm glad that's dying out because that like 10 years ago that was the thing. But I mean enough evidence and research to say like, hey, this is safe and good for the kids. So
Safe, dude.
yeah,
Safe, so
yeah,
safe. Compared to many other sports, bro, you have kids getting hurt on warm-ups. You have kids, there's so many variables in other sports, they
yeah.
could trip, they could get tripped on, they could step on someone. Weightlifting is so controlled, dude.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
bar will not do something crazy at you. It's gonna stay the same shape, you know?
That's true. I like that. That's a good way to put it. Um, and as far as let's see, I asked you this already, but any so coming from Miami to New Hampshire, like you said, you're able to gain success pretty quickly with the Rose Barbell Club, and like you said, it attributed to just like there's a lot of athletes here that want to do it. Any particular thing? I mean, any shout out or any person or club or gym that was like really helpful along the way to help I guess foster those relationships or help get you started?
Yeah, I mean, I think a ton of gyms in this space have been super welcoming. Outside of like growing Rose Barbell in those two locations that we've talked about, I've been able to do a couple seminars at other gyms. I put myself out there and I tell them, hey, look, let me do a weightlifting clinic on a specific movement, the snatch, the clean, the jerk. And they've been, super welcoming. And then, I've gotten great feedback from that. And that's been a way for me to be able to, put Rose Barbell Club out there as well. And gyms like Portsmouth, yeah, gyms like uh live free. A ton of gyms out here have been super welcoming, and I'm happy for that.
You talk about seminars. That was another question I wanted to ask you. What do you think? Because I feel like back in the day, seminars were exploded and everyone was doing seminars, but I feel like it's kind of cooled off a little bit. Obviously, they're still important. People still do them. But what do you think makes people get a lot like a really effective seminar? What makes a seminar good?
That's a great question. I think going back to like details, being able to be precise on the corrections, being able to spend a lot of time doing repetition, because like I said, majority of them just don't spend the time on those things and don't get the feedback that they need right away. And that's really what the clinics that I do base off is a ton of repetition, being able to like recognize positions in a way where they could get self feedback, being able to understand the movement better.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that gets, a ton of reward. And from there, they get, and they get a little bit more intrigued about the sport. And hopefully they want to, come on and try out Rose Barbell Club.
that's awesome. Are you getting a lot of athletes that might compete in both, like they do jujitsu and Olympic weightlifting, or
I
CrossFit and
haven't
weightlifting?
yet. I haven't yet. That would be cool. I think at some point I will get there,
I
but
feel like you will.
I definitely have some like jujitsu athletes that have now done some strength and conditioning and a little bit of like lifting with me, which has been nice. I think that's like the start of
Yeah,
something like that. But definitely the jujitsu community around me has been able to see like what the sport of weightlifting and what a barbell can do
that's
for an
cool.
athlete.
Yeah, I mean, you have in other sports, you have plenty of like, you got guys who are playing football like during the football season, and like baseball during baseball. Like have like a lot of multi-sport athletes. So there's nothing saying you can't do both.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And that's pretty much what's happening a lot with the youth athletes that I work with right now. A lot of
Yeah,
them are doing all year sports, from football
yeah,
to basketball to lacrosse to like who knows, dude. There's so many sports here. Kids are super, super engaged into sports, which I love. And I think
yeah,
here they're super supported by by their families, and it's
totally.
nice. I like that.
That's cool. How did you end up finding Valley Jiu-Jitsu?
That's a great question, dude. I was just looking around. I had visited a couple gyms and then I saw him. Um, he's still very competitive in the space, and more than anything, he still like goes to New York back and forth to get, training from higher level athletes, which I respect that a lot. And
Mm.
that was one of the things that made me, want to stick with someone that continuously wants to improve and keep getting more information, which it's a
Yeah,
great sign of a coach. And I was able to like train there, spend some time, and eventually he offered me the opportunity to start coaching with him, and it's been great. He's allowed me to grow a lot with the development of the youth athletes as well. So it's
that's
nice. Yeah, it's nice. And I think you mentioned that for the first time I was able to like travel to a different state with a team of jujitsu athletes and have them compete. And that was super unique, coming from coaching a ton of different sports and competing in a ton of different sports, coaching at a tournament, it was nice. It was a nice switch of pace for sure.
that's really cool. Where did you coach? What state was it?
We went to Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Oh,
was
that's awesome.
nice. It was a nice trip.
That's cool. So I got a couple quotes for you that you had mentioned on your Instagram account, and I just want to kind of dive into those a little
Yeah.
bit. So we got quote number one. Um, Coaching fills my heart with purpose. Watching athletes believe in themselves is the greatest reward. So dive into that a little bit for me.
For sure. I think what I enjoy the most, especially when I'm working with youth athletes, being able to see their confidence grow after each accomplishment, and because with weightlifting, it's kind of easy to see your progress and set certain goals and break a PR and celebrate that PR. It's nice. I think that's very rewarding.
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I think from the outside looking in, trying to figure out like, oh, why would someone decide to be a coach? Why is this person a coach? What's their motivation? I feel like that sums it up perfect, like really well. It's
Yeah.
difficult.
For sure, for sure. I think it's very powerful, and being able to do that to someone at that age and them carry that on as they grow, super unique.
Yeah, totally. And it reminds me of the last podcast that we had. It was just like you feel driven to coach athletes, whether it's jujitsu, CrossFit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
weightlifting.
But
Like
I think being a coach has been super important to me.
that's cool. That's cool. Um, so next one's a little longer, so bear with me here.
Yeah, let's do
But
it.
I thought it was good. So, as coaches, our role is to guide athletes with clarity and purpose. So this kind of goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier. But by observing closely and using simple and direct cues, we can help athletes make effective corrections without overwhelming them. Incorporating positive reinforcement empowers athletes and builds their confidence. Remember, effective coaching is about fostering growth and trust while simplifying the learning process. So
For
break
sure.
that down for me a little bit.
Easy. The most simple way I could break that down for you is, as a coach, I consider myself a GPS, and I'm trying to get you to your location just like a GPS would. I'm gonna say turn left, turn right, make make a left in 200 meters, and that's as much as it's gonna get. Because
Taking a turn.
as simple as it could be, it's gonna be easier for you not to get lost, right? If I overcomplicate things and I say, hey, you're gonna make a left after three lights, and after you see that stop sign, whoa, now you're thinking too much, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, that's I think that's perfect because I forget what the quote is, but like basically like if you can take a really complex concept and simplify it into really succinct like effective cues, like one that's knowledge of mastery of what you're talking about. I got the little thumbs up logo there.
That's
um,
cool.
but two, it's the most helpful thing for the person in front of you. It's the easiest for them to understand.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like that a lot. That really hit home to me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that's been the way I've been approaching my cues and my coaching. I'm always trying to make it as simple and as easy as possible for them to like feel it out, understand what's going on, and make the correction.
Love it. That's great. Um, all right. So this is something I had well, I briefly said at the very beginning of the podcast, but I want to talk a little bit more about it. So
Yeah,
um so talking about community. So when you had taken one or it sounds like a few of your trips back to Miami, you dropped into Team Soul. And I
yeah.
said it just felt like like a part of the family there. And I think
Dude,
I think
that
you
place
hit
is family. I have a ton of great friends there, a ton of great friendships. The owner's parents are people that I consider super close, and yeah, I mean, being able to go back and not only go back, but visit them with, what they remember me with, coaching them a class. It's a nice experience for both myself and for them.
I love it. And like we had said, like you went back and actually coached like a celebrity class essentially. Like, oh,
Dude,
here's
I,
Coach Aleman.
dude,
Like
I'm a coach, dude. Coaches gotta coach.
yeah, yeah. And the quote you had put for under this caption was once a part of the soul, always a part of the soul. Or once a part of
Yeah,
soul,
yeah,
always a part of
for
soul.
sure. And that's
Oh,
exactly how I feel, bro. That's exactly how I feel. To this day, there's times I reach out to Danny, one of the owners of Soul, and catch up with him, get feedback on certain things that happen here. It's a great relationship.
so that's cool. And this is a tough question for me to ask, but if you have any insights on it, let me know. So a lot of gyms, weightlifting, CrossFit, Jiu-Jitsu, their goal is to foster a community like that. They want to create the best community as possible. And
Correct.
some do really well with it, some miss the mark completely.
Yeah,
So
no,
what do,
for
what do
sure.
you think are the variables that create or what are the factors that create a community like that? It's
That's
hard,
a
it's
good,
hard.
yeah, that's a hard question, and I think
Yeah.
it has a lot of different dimensions, to be honest. I think there's variables that could help, and there's certain things that some gyms do that work that can't be done at other gyms. But coming at from a gym like Soul, where like community is one of the biggest things, it's been able to like show me some things that things could improve in other gyms now that I'm in this area. I think they just do a really good job at getting that feel of like that family feel amongst each other, being able to support each other's goals, support each other's growth
Mhm.
in different aspects has been nice. Being able to see that. for so long at a gym like that, and now being able to try to replicate that in other spaces has been uh
Yeah,
that definitely a challenge, but
totally. Yeah, often trying to like replicate something that doesn't feel natural. You can't do it. It has to almost come naturally.
it's an organic thing, you
Yeah,
know. I think it
yeah,
comes with time and it comes with, patience, but definitely something that it was a nice example to come out of.
totally. Um, kind of maybe on a similar topic here, but you'd said like you've been bringing Rose to the gym recently, so
Yeah,
you're working out like, and I think with your wife as well, with
yeah,
out with the gym. So obviously, family is very important to you. Um,
definitely.
so and which is so cool. You're able to do that and integrate everybody into the gym and fitness with you. But how is a lot of people struggle with how to balance the two? Like especially if you're really into something like fitness, whatever. How has the balance been? How have you been able to find that balance between spending time with the family and the fitness and the
For
coaching? I know
sure.
you're a busy guy.
I think I've obviously been a lucky person where you know I've been able to have separate communities, the jujitsu world, the weightlifting world, and being able to like take Rose and my wife into those two spaces and being able to all three of us grow together in all those little worlds has been great. And Rose is not even two yet, but I could see her participating easily in in any of those spaces. Anytime soon she'll be on the mat and taking the weightlifting class. And yeah, it's nice to be able to put her in those situations at that early age.
Yeah, that's cool. She's already. I mean, she probably already feels like it's completely natural just being there.
Exactly, being at a gym and hearing 300 pounds land on the ground does not phase her. She's not
Yeah,
scared.
yeah.
you know
She's playing around on all the equipment. No, it's cool.
yeah,
It's cool to
it
see.
is cool. It's super nice to see.
So a couple other just questions I want to ask you as we're starting to wrap up here. Um, so a couple of things that we talked about last time. So you've done a lot of like stuff with a brand, being a brand ambassador for a couple different brands.
Yeah.
Um, the Lululemon. Are you still? Was that through Miami or is that New Hampshire? Are you
That
still?
was in Miami. That was in
Yeah.
Miami. And Lululemon, after you're done with your ambassadorship, you become what's called a legacy ambassador. So like
Okay.
I'm still like part of the family, but it's not the same experience.
You're an OG now.
Yeah, but
That's
it was
cool.
nice. Definitely unique. It was at one point as a trainer in Miami, it was like one of my goals to be able to put myself in that space with a brand that has certain power.
Yeah.
Lululemon, I would consider a strong brand in the space,
Yep.
and
Yep.
definitely an amazing experience.
That's
Definitely great.
um. And then the other one was NoCo and NOCCO.
NoCo, I first got acquainted with NoCo through a weightlifter in Germany. He used to drink those, and I was like super intrigued. Like, what is that? I've never even seen that. And yeah, the United States didn't have them at that time. And when they
Oh,
did get here, I was able to like jump on, as they're starting to grow and help them, try to distribute some of that back when I was in Miami and did a few events with them. And they've grown in the space. I think they were one of the sponsors in Wadapalooza last year.
oh,
Yeah. But
sweet.
they're growing, and I like it. It's supposed to be an energy drink that has BCAAs included, and they also have an option that's non-caffeinated. So it's like sparkling BCAAs pretty much.
Oh, cool. All right.
So it's a
Yes.
nice little switch up. I like the sparkles and
Yeah, yeah.
don't always have to get caffeinated. And it's like a moderate amount of caffeine. I believe it's 150 or maybe 180, but that's not terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
Just
not, yeah.
you're not drinking like a bang with 300 milligrams.
Dude, yeah. Bang used to sponsor So at one point, and that was ridiculous. That's
It's a lot.
terrible. We were
It's
all
a lot of,
having a hard time with that.
it's a lot of caffeine. Well,
Yeah.
that's like like it's cool that you work with brands that you appreciate because like I mean I don't remember in the very early days of CrossFit before I was even aware of it. I think they were sponsored by like Panda Express or something like that. Like so they
Uh,
had some wild sponsors.
yeah. It's
Which I
crazy.
mean, in the beginning of the sport, you can take what you can
Yeah,
get, you know. But
exactly. You gotta do what you gotta do.
and then Rev Balance. Is the other one you're working
Bro, I love that company. They do balance boards, and when they first started, I was like super intrigued by them, and I got one at the gym at Seoul, and did a bunch of, it's just an entertaining way to like warm up and focus, and focus on like a specific task that has not much to think about. Just stand on a board, find your balance.
That's cool.
Um, Kind of like a mental warm up, to be honest, because
Sure.
physically
Yeah.
it doesn't require much, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But great support. That company has always been great, and I would love to have in my mind, it would be ideal to have like 10 at a classroom, and before class starts, all the kids can balance for 2 minutes, and then we could start a class. That would be such a practical way to use a thing like that.
Totally. Totally. No.
You get, how like how much more calm the kid's gonna be and prepared to like learn.
Yeah. It takes all that mental energy to and physically
Correct,
focus.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
That's
That's where I'm trying to like that. I would love for them to get to that point.
that's cool. All right. So last couple questions, just to wrap up, then I'll let you get out of here. So anything, you mentioned a few things already. I know nationals coming up and a couple seminars and everything, but anything else like in store for the future that you're excited about, near future, this year, next year, a couple months?
I'm super excited for this like upcoming season for weightlifting, as we get closer to nationals, also master nationals with some potential master athletes that has been super fun as well to work with. On my end, being able to like compete, my goal this year is to try to compete a little bit more in jiu-jitsu. I want to get as much practice as I can competing as a brown belt before I become a black belt.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to get that experience in all these different levels. And I think that's a pretty cool thing that, you could like progress yourself into that black belt level competitor, because there's a difference between being, a black belt and like competing as a black belt.
Totally. Oh
You know?
yeah. I feel like any belt, the difference
Yeah,
between
pretty
just
much, pretty much
blue
any
belt
belt.
and competitive.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. Like,
for
you
sure.
know?
That's cool. And we talked about some of your brands already, and obviously the Rose Barbell Club. But
Yeah.
anything else you want to like plug or shout out?
That I'm Shout out to my family, the support. I love everyone. That's pretty much it. Rose Barbell Club. I love to see it grow. I love the impact it's done on a lot of people's lives. I think it's a space where parents and kids can train together in an actual sport, and that's very unique. It's hard to replicate that. Not many sports allow that to happen. You can't go to like basketball practice with your mom and both practice at the same time. That doesn't just work like that.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah,
So
no,
it's a cool thing to tap in, the aspect of families training together.
100%. There's a guy, and I think you're hitting the money on that because like there's a guy down here who's doing more like high school style strength and conditioning type stuff, and he's rolling out the same thing, and he's finding really good success with it. Is like, hey, bring your kids, we'll train for like high school sports,
Oh,
but
yeah,
also come train. Like
yeah,
everybody come train, just come
yeah,
train.
yeah. Like
Like
everyone should
parents
be
love it.
training. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's been super super unique and nice to see grow. Maybe next year when we do a round number 3,
yeah.
we'll have a ton of kids and families training together.
That's cool. All right, and so you can use the same answer if you want, if you can remember, which I think you will be able to. But if you have a different one too, I'll be happy to hear it. But the billboard question. So, what highway are you near in New Hampshire now?
Honestly, I still don't know my highway here. I'm like
I I don't
straight up to the
I
GPS, and
yeah.
I only go to 2 different gyms, so like I memorize the routes at this point, but don't
Let's say
quote me on
95.
highway. Okay.
95 must run through there somewhere. It goes Maine to Florida, right? Let's
Okay,
say
yes, yes,
95.
yes.
So you get a billboard on a 95. You can put a quote, a mantra, a saying on the billboard. And anything you want. Let's say for 2025, you get it for the whole.
Honestly, I still remember. That's a quote that I have forever. Effort and attitude. And I think
Love
I
it.
think it's used in many sports. It's used
Yeah,
outside of sports. It's used in every scenario, and I think that's an easy one. I think that's definitely the one that I'm gonna put again.
beautiful. We'll keep it. We'll keep it on
Yeah,
there for
thank
2025.
you.
Good stuff. Awesome, man. No, it's been fun. It's been fun catching up. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Of course. All right, signing off. I'll hit end, but I won't leave you yet.
Yeah. All right.